Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy Thursday. What's up? How are y'all doing? Did you all miss gaffing last week? I think everyone went into a panic when they saw I published a flyer that says gaffing will be postponed, right? So I apologize for that. And I really wasn't feeling too well last week. That's why I was not feeling well last week. So would it be something that is customary? No, but I really and truly had to just draw back for a minute. I think, with everything that is happening, not just locally, but globally in this pandemic, I really and truly started to feel the weight. Sometimes it's not, I'm not personally experiencing everything that other persons are experiencing, but the mere fact that every week on Garfin, we speak on some parts of this, we highlight parts of what's happening in the community right now. And here in St. Martin, over the past 2 weeks, we have seen an insane surge with the pandemic. We have seen what from 30 something, well, basically from 0 or 2, I think it was, and all of a sudden now it's like 80. I mean, like 80 in terms of persons who have coronavirus on the Dutch side only. And it's insane because on the Dutch side it's only 16 square miles. Can you imagine a 16 square mile island that has 80 active cases of pandemic of COVID, and it's increasing every single day, so it's just it's very heavy right now. It's very, very heavy. So for the past several weeks, we have done 8 episodes. Over the past several weeks, we have done 8 episodes of gaffing. I really and truly enjoy the platform. Why? It's because it really take away from the usual conversation we would have about in the community about what government is doing and what this person isn't doing, what that person isn't doing, and really and truly went directly into conversation with our people, our persons just like me and you every single day. I really wanted to know how persons were doing, what was really happening in the community on a social level, talk one on one with persons, and just to understand the state of our economy right now and the state and the well-being of our people as well, the mental state. We discussed agriculture, because throughout the region, and I think also throughout the world, a lot of persons have been. My sister is just a wild person. We're here at a hotel, and my sister is just trying to get my attention for some nonsense. So forgive me if you see me looking here. But we have discussed agriculture, and as I was saying, there are persons throughout the world who just went right back into agriculture if they weren't doing that before, right? Because we see the importance of feeding ourselves. We get to understand even more, and being thrown into this pandemic, food security became a major, major concern, because for islands in the Caribbean, a lot of our islands we survive, we depend on importation of foods, right? So now with all of what is happening, there's a massive delay in these things, or it's threatened basically. So we find ourselves going right back to the earth, as we would call it, right back to the earth. So we spoke on agriculture, we spoke on education, we spoke on self-care, we spoke on about the elderly. We actually brought back Zoya Hyman, who really dived in and spoke heavily on mental illness. And as we all know, especially throughout the region, and I would say maybe on the developing countries throughout the world as well, there's a stigma that is attached to mental illness. So we wanted to really normalize that conversation, okay? And over the past 3 episodes, we brought in persons who were directly affected by COVID in terms of being laid off from work. We were curious to know how they were coping now. That's where we met the famous Erica. Erica is now famous, actually. We became familiar with Erica, a casino worker who was laid off from her job, still have her monthly financial obligations to maintain, right? And so we spoke on that. We brought Dominic Hodge on as well, who was not laid off due to COVID, but she was laid off in the height of COVID. And for Dominic, within a week, she said, I have to do something about this. Dominic started her own small business. We had Terence Ray, an economist, to really divulge even more on the state of our economy, which I believe is very, very important for us to understand on that basic layman terms level. And our last episode, we had Betty Arundel, who is a small business owner for many years, 20 something years. And with Betty, the conversation was very, very intriguing because we were able to not just only have the conversation, but to able to learn her true resilience over the course of the years from experiencing Hurricane Lewis in 1995, how she survived then, how her business transitioned over the course of the years. And I personally know Betty from visiting her establishment, her restaurant, for over 10 years. I have been frequent there. I buy breakfast there. I buy lunch there. So I'm able to really witness from the outside looking in what that transition has been like. And for me, I noticed when it was Hurricane Irma, her physical structures were damaged, and within 2 to 3 months, she was able to rehabilitate her business while so many other businesses in Phillipsburg, St. Martin were still struggling. And here it is now for the pandemic. Betty's business again was hit, but not the physical structure. But because of the whole lockdown, everything had to be shut down. And again, she had to return right back from where she started, selling from the kitchen and learning again how to meet persons one-on-one, from not from the establishment of the actual restaurant, but or putting out orders every day. On that gaff as well, we had Emilio Calmera, which, well, he did a really, really, really great presentation on budgeting, because as we know, a lot of persons are out of work. Money is a problem. And what we need to understand now is how to manage our money. How do we manage our money moving forward? So this, what I just said, was a recap of more or less everything that happened over the past 8 episodes of gaffing. So do you feel how heavy it is? It's really, really heavy, right? So I thought to myself, seeing this conversation, these gaffes are to reach the people who need it the most, this conversation to be a lesson, to be something where we're able to teach and to educate our persons, our community, our viewers, and to really spark that interest, to ignite that conversation within themselves and say, hey, you know what? I need to make adjustments. I didn't know that before. This is how I can do this now moving forward. If I'm being stressed out, I'm being burdened by what's happening financially, what's happening in the economy, in the country, maybe I can see someone like Zoya, a therapist, and it's okay. There's no stigma. So I thought before moving on to a next episode, let's just pause. I wanted to pause because this is not about me. It's about us. I want to really understand what we are feeling, how your thoughts are, what your thoughts are on the content we have been putting out over the past 8 episodes, how receptive they were to you, and how receptive you were to the content. Has it impacted you in any way? Were you able to create some kind of shift in your day-to-day life, maybe even in your thinking, your thought process? All right. So the only way we could have done that is to check in with our viewers to hear what they have to say, as opposed to me, all right, or opposed to a guest coming on and speaking. So today, I actually have 4 guests on this call, 4 guests, and we'll also be reading some of the comments. We have an engagement, okay? So the guests will be sharing their thoughts and gaffing, their thoughts on our content, and what was their experience like for receiving whatever information they received, what resonated with them the most, and how did they utilize this information, this content we're actually putting out there that is for us, the people. So these gaffes or to allow us to become even more educated, aware, and elevated in our minds, in our habits day to day, and the manner in which we even perceive ourselves, the manner in which we think. All right. So we have, let me introduce them first. We have Anita Facey. Anita will introduce herself. Anita, you can go ahead and let the public know who you are.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Keoma, for having me. I'm Anita Hall Facey. I'm an educator by birth, by blood, by DNA. My passion lies with unattached youths and creating a paradigm for multicultural students in order for them to achieve their potential. From my accent, I'm sure you can tell that I'm a Jamaican. Today is our independence. I'm also a doctoral candidate at the UWI Open Campus in Anguilla. And that's it for me today. Thank you, Keoma.
Thank you very much, Anita, for your introduction. The next person we have up is Lawrence Bashk. Lawrence, let us know who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we dive in.
Hi everyone, I'm Lawrence Baksh. I'm from Guyana, South America. Most of that spoke with before always think that Guyana is an island, but I always have to tell them it's not an island. It's a country located in South America. And I am a hemophilia patient. For persons who don't know what hemophilia is, it's a bleeding disorder. And this COVID situation has affected us in a different way, because we have a condition that's not much known, especially in our country. And that was inspired me to start an organization with the other co-founders. And basically, that's it for me for now. A citizen of Guyana and enjoying the view of listening to the Gyhaffin.
Okay, Lawrence, thank you. But Lawrence, I will tell you, you're echoing. I'm not too sure why you're echoing. You're echoing really badly because we weren't able to hear you clearly. So maybe let's pay attention to your audio. Okay, Lawrence, before we carry on, let's pay attention to your audio, please. I'm not too sure if it's because maybe you're in a car. I'm not too sure why. So we need to work that out. So sorry for our viewers. The next person is Moses. Moses is all the way from Nigeria. Moses.
Hi.
Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Okay.
A little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm Oladumeji Moses Okunribido. I'm in Nigeria from West Africa. I'm an independent researcher. I'm a life coach as well, and I'm an author. My basic job is just to help people find meaning to their existence and lead them on the pathway to self-fulfillment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moses. Thank you. The next person is Erica. Erica Maduro. Erica,
hello. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Keona.
Good afternoon, Erica. So Erica, I don't want to dive in. Erica was a guest on, I think, 3 episodes ago. I think persons will remember Erica very, very vividly. Erica, you were here. First of all, how did you learn of Gyhaffin with Keoma? Because I became acquainted with you through Terrence Ray, who I have on my WhatsApp contact. He shared the flyer for that particular Gyhaff on his WhatsApp status. You commented, he reached out to me, and tell us about that. How were you even aware of Gyhaffin?
Well, this platform of Gyhaffin was very well for me because when I come and share my experience, everyone wanted to help me out. I even get my job back, a part-time job. But last week, I get all my full-time job back. So it was helpful for me. And since now, I have a person that calling me if I need help, if I need food, how my children. They have a person checking out on me all the time.
Oh, very good.
Girlfriend changes people's mind.
Very good. For persons, if I can reiterate what Erica just said. So let me just add to. So I became familiar with Erica because Terrence Ray, who was the economist on one of our episodes, Terrence posted this the flyer for that particular episode on his WhatsApp status. Erica responded to that. He sent me her response, and I asked him, I said, hey, I wonder if she would be willing to speak with me. And he connected her with me. She said yes. And Erica came on Gyhaffin as a guest. And you all would have remembered clearly, Erica is that person. Erica, if you don't mind, tell us what was your background like before, because you were working at a casino. You were one of the 40 employees who lost their jobs. So remind us about your experience.
Our contract finished because the pandemic, we can't get no new contracts because, you know, tourist airport was closed, or lost our job for children, running hours with no food, rents 2 months, 3 months, we now pay. You know, my boyfriend only have his job, but it's not enough to cover. So I was stressful, I was losing my head. I was crying every day because I don't know how to manage this situation. No? I was almost getting crazy. My son, my big son, was affecting too for this situation because he feel impotent that he can help me out. No, that was a stressful time. Now I trying to survive. So things change after I come on the platform. Everyone is like kinda with me. Everyone wanted to help me. I even get people send clothes for my children.
Oh,
so
wow.
I never in my life getting help like that. Never in my life was I be able to get help for no one. I always had to be by my own, do my things by my own. But right now, everybody offer me help. I be like trying to know because there's no I know be asking for help, but I come on the platform to share my experience because I was in a bad time for myself. I wanted to express everybody how I feel. So I know a lot of people feel just like me. So that's why I come, but I get more than I expect when I come to the platform and guys, because for people is the job you make it is very helpful. I thankful when the platform to everyone that tried to help me out too. Even my boss see this and the owner to the casino see this and he send that he called me. He said he can help me, only give me a part-time job for now because the situation and blah blah blah. So I say I take it because every little thing is better than nothing. So now a week ago I get my job back, my full time.
Very good. Very good.
Yes.
And Erica, I remember when we spoke, I asked you, because you told me the owner of the casino saw the episode of Gyhaffin. He reached out to you and he explained to you, what he saw, that he saw the episode, and he actually told you, things are not too good right now, but he understands the situation and he will call you in and he called you in to offer you a part-time job. And here it is now. Last night you told me you are now working full-time. I think that is really
Yes.
and truly amazing. Really and truly amazing. So and I remember I asked you, is it just you alone who was offered a full-time position, or are your colleagues there as well? Because I know there were about 40.
Only me get a job back. All them out. They don't have no more contract yet.
Oh, wow.
Only me because Gyhaff is.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good. So this is what we wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do, is to really and truly check in with our viewers to see how effective this platform is. Because as I said, it is not just for me to bring people on as guests and talk all of the time, but it's to really make sure that our content is really resonating with the people who really need it the most. And we're here to share our stories. We're here to tell people what we are dealing with on a day-to-day basis in order to allow others' minds to be elevated and to know that you are not alone. We are not alone at all in this, okay? So Erica, thank you so much for this. Let's go let's go to Lawrence. Lawrence, is your audio better now? Are you on? Lawrence, your audio is muted. You have to unmute it, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead. It's echoing, but go ahead. Let me hear.
Well, I tried to come closer to the Wi-Fi and I came out of the car, so I hope it's working a bit better now.
Okay, I can hear it. I can hear it echo, but just take your time a little bit and let's just be clear a bit. Go ahead.
Yes, so I was saying before, I'm Lawrence from Guyana. For those who don't know where Guyana is, it's located in South America, and a few persons might, when I speak about Guyana, they think, oh, it's an island. So I just have to correct them and let them know that it's not an island, but it's a country located in South America on the continent. So I also mentioned briefly that I was a hemophilia patient, and with the whole COVID situation, for persons that might not know what hemophilia is, it's a bleeding disorder, and because persons in Guyana don't know much about this condition, myself and two other co-founders started the Guyana Hemophilia Society, and to bring the awareness of what this condition is. And that's why I found, I think was the part with one of the episodes with a psychologist, where persons have a little bit of negativity towards psychology or psychologists, and things like that will impact our community, especially when it comes to COVID. We're a very small community of persons with a bleeding disorder, and when situations like these come to a country that was not prepared, which most of our countries weren't prepared for the whole lockdown, and persons who might be working, who are self-employed, everything switched, everything changes. School for the children changes. So it was an interesting time, and we recently had our elections that was finally concluded. And that was taking up my mind and my thoughts over the few months that we have a situation. So for now, at least when it comes to the election situation.
Lawrence, because of your audio, right? It's echoing a lot. But let me just reiterate what you stated so persons can understand who may have missed it. Okay. So Lawrence, from what I'm hearing, Lawrence said he is a part of a very small community. He's located in Guyana, and he's a part of a very small community as a hemophilia patient. So for persons who are not aware of what hemophilia is, it's a condition, it's a genetic condition whereby the blood does not clot. So if he walks and he hits his hand or anywhere he can play, it can mean that internally he will bleed. So his joints will be swollen, and it affects their eyesight and stuff like that. All right. So in a situation like this with COVID, it became even harder for them to actually have access to medication, because on a regular basis, it's hard for hemophilia patients, which is a very small community in Guyana, to have that access to their medication. So here it is now, when it came to the mental health, the mental state of them stressing, because they can easily bleed to death internally, right? Because with hemophilia, the blood does not come out, it bleeds within. So because of that, it increases the state of the mind, so the mental health. So for him, he said, what resonated with him the most or so is the episode of mental illness, what we spoke about. Right or wrong, Lawrence, did I get that right?
Yeah, basically, sorry for the audio. I don't know why the audio is terrible. My apologies for it.
Yeah, I'm not too sure why your audio is the way it is, but yeah, that's the thing, because that is one thing. And I remember you commented on one of the last episodes, but I will touch base on that after, because I screenshot your comments on the talk when Emilio Calmera was on, right? So let's go to Anita Facey. Anita, how has Gyhaffin to you? What is the platform like? And how is our content resonating with you? Do you even think it's it's relevant to our times, for COVID times.
Good afternoon again, everyone. Thank you for having me. Keoma, thank you for this opportunity. Well, for me, this platform is phenomenal. As an educator, it has allowed me to network with like-minded persons, whether they're educators or not, if they just have a vested interest in the whole educational system of not just St. Martin, but within the region per se. Through this platform, I've been able to dialogue and form partnerships which will move the whole context of the post-COVID pandemic in terms of dealing with persons who are from different levels of their education. So for example, it may just be a parent who has a child with special need, and they need help. So through this platform, discussions are happening whereby we can train parents, give them a better perspective as to how to deal with these children. Because, you know, parents, yes, you send your child to school, he or she has autism or one of those special needs or lack thereof. But as a parent, you are only able to feed and clothe a child. You don't know how to deal with this child. And that is why, if you notice, especially from UNICEF reports, the whole issue of child abuse has increased because, to be frank, some parents just don't know what to do. And with the loss of their jobs, they're taking it out on the child, especially if it's in a home where there's an absentee father. And the child looks so much like the father. No, this child is now a double problem to this single mom who already has 7 more children. So what are they to do? So this platform, I would say, is going places. It's really relevant and timely. I can see where even beyond COVID, because I'm sure COVID, they'll find a vaccine very soon. That's just my thought. But this program will integrate the region, giving persons an opportunity to have a voice. And Keoma, I must congratulate you. You are doing an awesome job. Notice we're all from different, even though you and I and Erica were in St. Martin, Lawrence is from Guyana, Moses is from Nigeria, I'm Jamaican, Erica has a Spanish nationality, you can hear it in her voice, and you are Guyanese St. Martin as well. So stop me if I'm going on too long. But yes, this is an awesome experience because all 5 of us can create something good for this region. We can, with our experiences from the different episodes. Though I'm an educator and I was so fascinated with episode 3, one thing also that resonated with me from the episode with mental health, remember there was a story about a woman taking a lot of pills. She was feeling toothache and she took the pills and it would seem suicidal. But what I learned, because I have friends who have often thought about suicide based on their economic conditions, people don't actually want to die, they just want the pain to stop. And that has resonated with me. Now I understand, because even though I'm an educator, I'm unemployed, but I'm not unemployable. Yes. So even if you're unemployed, you are not unemployable. Once the good Lord wakes you up in the morning, he's not finished with you yet. Sorry, I started preaching, but he's not finished with you yet. Once he wakes you up in the morning, you have 24 hours to make a better decision than the one you made yesterday. So yes, thank you for this opportunity.
You're most welcome. And the thing is, I should be thanking all of our viewers. You know, I should really be thanking all our viewers. And let's, for Anita, let's go right back to what you mentioned about education and how it benefits you. You mentioned you started partnership. Kevin, actually, for episode 3 on education, Kevin reached out to me, and what he did, he sent me a short recording of Erica because Anita. Because on that particular episode with the educational talk, I saw Anita was commenting, right? And she contacted me after. She said, hey, I need to get in contact with Kevin. So the next thing I knew was Kevin, which was the young man from Trinidad who was a guest on Gyhaffin on that particular day. Kevin owns a school, a blended learning school, private school in Trinidad. And before you know it, well, during that time, because of the students being out of school, Kevin School Academy for Higher Learning in Trinidad, they hosted a regional CXC marathon workshop, right? And the next thing you know, the recording Kevin sent me was Anita Anita was facilitating one of those CXC regional workshops. And I'm like, oh my God. So I must say, I am very proud of that you were able to network and the content there became relevant to you. And just to connect what you stated to what Lauren stated, there is a stigma, really much of a stigma when it comes to mental illness. And even to Erica stated it as well. Erica stated, even with her son, her 12-year-old son, he's old enough to even realize that certain things are different in their household. So let's just stick a pin right here and go to Moses, and then we will continue. All right. Moses,
All right.
you're
Yeah,
all
thank you very
the
much.
way, you're all the way
Thank
in
you.
Nigeria.
Sure.
How?
Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, you are really doing a
Go ahead.
you're really doing a great job, and I appreciate the fact that you actually summoned the courage to step out of your shell to do this. So it has really blessed a lot of people. Erica here is a good testimony, at least.
Yeah, thank you very
Erica?
much.
Yeah, even Anita too. So basically, I would like to say that every episode, they are awesome. Every. But the one that is most appealing to me as a person is the issue of the psychology and the emotional awareness that was taken by Zoya. So because with that way, having an emotional state of balance, every other thing we do will just be a flop. So, and what she actually said in that episode was that if you take care of yourself first, you'll be able to give attention to other people. Like my friend will say, it is only a person that is well enough that can donate blood to others. So if you are not fit yourself, there is no way you will be able to render help to other people. And COVID itself has made it known to every one of us that the most scarce commodity on planet Earth is attention. So the issue of COVID actually put everybody on our toes. You see children spending more time with their parents at home. See people staying indoor. So there's this emotional bond that was lost before. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So that emotional wellness is actually a series that I believe should be repeated. Pardon me, I believe it should be repeated because there are people that are suffering silently. They can't reach out. Even people who call themselves thought leaders. The rich also cry.
Yes.
The rich also cry. Yeah.
The rich
so
also
this emotional stuff. Yeah, sure. Irrespective of what they have. I know there's this silent pain in them that they are willing to share with people, but their attention is not there. So in the issue of the emotional intelligence, we ourselves, we have to understand ourselves. And that's one lesson I learned. And you know me, I'm a workaholic. At times I work all day and I end up breaking down. So I have to focus more attention on myself. My awareness is what is going to bring awareness to other people. If I'm fit, that's when I'll be able to come live on here. If I'm not fit, definitely I won't be here. So people pay too much attention to things they are pursuing, thereby neglecting their health. And the health will definitely affect their mental capacity. So, and that was what Zoe actually, she advocated for. COVID has come to stay. Let us face that reality. Vaccine or no vaccine, it has come to stay. Just like we have AIDS then. It came out and everybody were, but now, I think COVID is now the upper boss now. I believe you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. We're following you very well.
Okay, yeah.
Very
so
well.
COVID has come to stay. What we are going to do presently now, based on some things that we have said, we must ensure that we ourselves, we are fit to impact others. Mentally, physically, spiritually. Because truth be told, we have people praying this COVID, they are praying for it to stop. Fine, I believe in prayer. I'm a spiritual person, but prayer alone won't do it. So that was why I said it was this series that actually appealed to me the most, because everything happening still revolves around our mind and our ability to process things that is happening. Just like Anita said, like somebody taking a drug and, suicide issue and like. This COVID actually caused a lot of trauma to people, a lot. Even in my country here in Nigeria, when the whole thing started and, people were told to stay at home, houses, to burgle their house, to steal. They were even killing just to get what they would eat. So it was that bad. But if we have put issues like this psychological and mental work, it's just a set button for
We're losing
also learning ways of doing things. Most lives. Hello? Maybe most lives that were lost will have still been alive. So in all, I will appreciate. It is an appeal. It's an appeal from my own part here. If we can have Zoya and other people who are psychologists in there, they can come back again, to discuss the psychological and the mental awareness. Okay. It is the health that produces money. It is health that produces love. It is health that produces every other thing. If we are all sick, we won't be here. And sickness cannot just only be physical, it can be mental. So I learned a lot through that when we take time to take care of ourselves, that is when we will be in the capacity fit to even give out help to others. And on the education aspect, I don't want to delve into that since we have, we have professors here, Anita, and that's your feed. So the education aspect as well, COVID has disrupted that. Probably before now,
Moses,
we have.
Let me just touch base, for a person.
Okay.
Let me just touch base on what you just said before we continue, right?
All right.
Heard what Moses said. The episode that resonated with him the most, or one of the episodes rather, that resonated with him the most is the episode where we first had self-care, where we discussed various aspects of self-care, including psychological and emotional self-care. And what Moses is appealing for is what persons, when we air the self-care talk, they appeal to say, hey, we need to have more conversation on psychological and emotional self-care. Hence the reason why Zoya came back on to really, we spent 2 hours really diving deeper in to the state of our minds and our emotions and what triggers these things. Because every one of us across the board, we need to talk to somebody. I don't care who you are, where you are. And as Moses said just now, even the rich need to speak to somebody. Even the rich has struggles as well. So Moses is now pleading for Zoya to come back and for us to host another episode where we can talk even more on the state of our mental state, our psychological state, our emotional state. And as he said just now, in order for us to live, we need to be able to work with our minds properly. In order for us to love, in order for us to exist. So Moses, thank you so much for that. And I'm curious to know, you're in Nigeria. What is the state of the people like right now in Nigeria based on the effects of COVID?
Okay, now I'm not here to brag about my country, but this is actually the facts. Nigerians are the most resilient people on earth.
I would just say people because we are resilient too.
Sure.
But go ahead.
We've adjusted to everything. We've adjusted. At first it was as if it was a death sentence, but within 2-3 weeks, everybody, they were up and doing, and we're like, okay, fine. Even if they die, they are ready to die. But at least they know that this thing will not kill them as long as they are taking measure. So presently now the schools are opening, banks are open. The economy is 90% open and everything is running smooth now, 90%, yeah. Even churches, religious, and every other thing. So we are doing great.
Okay.
We are doing great. Even though we had 900 plus deaths.
Okay.
Yes, 900 and something. We had a case of over 35,000 for this pandemic issue.
Okay.
Over 35,000. So 900 and something dead. Today, we had over 1,000 people that were discharged of this COVID stuff. So people are adjusting and they are going about their normal life.
Okay.
Unlike when it started. So everything at least is taking shape now.
Okay, very good. Before I tap right back into Lawrence, I wanted to read just a few comments. I keep saying this every week. I'm not too sure what it is, but here while we do the live, I can only see 4 comments at a time. I see Roxy said, Moses, that we were hearing you clearly. Persons were hearing you clearly when you asked. Paulo Ralph said all the episodes was nice and helpful, and I saw some other comments, but I just lost them. So I would respond to them after. Lawrence, what I'll do is I'll read one of the comments you posted actually on the post on Facebook. All right, let me read it here because then it becomes easier. Let me just read it here. All right. You all know I told y'all before, your girl need to put her glasses on. In order for me to read properly, I need to put my glasses on. So bear with me. So Lawrence said, my thoughts on the show is more or less informative topics and seeing a youth trying to share and bring information to interested viewers. That is Lawrence Bash from Ghana. This is what he commented on the post. He had actually 4 points. The second point was the episodes of the psychological impact on persons and the stigma on seeing or speaking to a psychologist, and the episode on managing our budget and business. They are both areas that persons think they understand, but in reality, for the most part, they are bad at it. Lawrence, we really need to talk about that because I recall, oh my God, I should have saved this. I recall you mentioned when we had Emilio Calmera on, you said in your community, in Guyana, in your community, there are a lot of persons who have small shops, small stands where they sell, their whatever items they sell. And you said you always wonder if they really manage, like how they really manage their business. Do they manage it as if, hey, this is my money, take the money out of the business and use it as a personal use? Or is it that they operate the business as a standalone business, or are they taking from one hole and filling another hole? I want your audio to work, Lawrence. Do you think it's because you're wearing the headphones? Do you think so?
I think so, because while listening to questions, you hear me, right?
I can hear you, but you're really echoing.
Oh, I try my best to see how best I could fix the mic, but I don't know if it's something with my system or something. I'm so sorry.
I'm not too sure, but I think, do you have another phone you can log in on?
I could try this other phone. I could try the other phone and see if I can get some.
Okay, try another phone. You have the link already. Just try the other phone and I will accept you on.
All right, I will send it.
If you want to be a part of this as a viewer. All right. Okay.
All right.
Don't take too long. Okay, but I really thought when Lawrence made our comments, it was for the last episode with Emilio Calmera, where we were really talking about budgeting. And Betty Arundel, the small business owner, she mentioned something. She said, we need to understand that the business is not ours. It's the business, the money the business make is the business money. You know, we pay ourselves a salary because persons will feel, oh, it's my business, you know, to take out money and spend it accordingly to how they feel. Whereas it should be recognized as a separate entity. And this is what Lawrence commented on. And I thought it was very, very impactful what he stated in Guyana, as I stated just now, he wanted to know, as he said, he wondered, how are the small shop owners, the persons with a little stand, how are they really managing that stand or that small shop? Are they taking it and say, oh, this is my money? Or are they really running and operating that business as their own and take something from one hole and fill another hole? You know, what is the proper management? So I really want him to expound on what he experienced, or what he observed rather, in his community in Ghana, on that topic. Erica, um, what were you were on? What were some of the responses you received from your co-workers, your friends, your co-workers who were also laid off from work? And how do they feel now that you are the only one who is working? Like, what was that like for them?
Well, it's not a good life for them now, but they feel great. I get my job back. They all them was happy. They all them call me, text me, I just tell me they're happy for me because I really need it for my 4 kids. So most of them, they want a job back, but they was happy for me.
Okay.
And they said that you're doing a great job. All them wanted to come grave too.
All of them. Repeat that for me, please. All of them. What is
all
that?
of them wanted, yes, all of them tell me, why you don't tell me about this platform? I was telling, but they don't understand what after la well, what was that? So then I said, let's see. They said, yes, this is helpful. But you didn't tell me I could come. You know, all them wanted to share their experience too.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. But you never know. There is so much more conversation can happen, you know. But as I said, the idea is to really and truly meet our people, ordinary people like me and you, all of us, where we are, is to speak in, not to insult the intellect of our people, of course, but we want our language to be where, regardless of who you are and where you are, you're able to comprehend it in the most simplest terms. I don't want to follow, let's do it this way or do it that way. I want gaffing to be whereby you feel so comfortable as if you're chilling with your friends on a stoop, on a step, and we're just talking about things that really matters. And we're not just talking about it, but we're actually putting things in place to assist in improving, because I'm someone who likes to fix things a little bit, you know? So we really want to highlight, and this is why I said, let's pause for a little bit for this episode and let's hear how our viewers' thoughts are on gaffing. You know, everyone is saying good things, but what are some of the negative things of gaffing? What do you think we should improve on? Moses is laughing. You know, this is, I want to really be fair about this, because for sure there's always room for improvement. I'm open to hearing, and I'm open to learning as well, but definitely want to see, even though we are not able to control the state of the world right now due to the pandemic, we have the power to control ourselves and the manner in which we respond to the pandemic. The only power we have is the power that we have. We can only maintain ourselves and our family, do the best we can. And this is what we're here for, to identify where our strength lies, where our power lies. And this is where we need to focus on. All right. So Erica did that. Anita did that. I mean, Anita is leveraging, my God. Anita participated as a guest lecturer. Should I say a lecturer in Kevin Charles from Trinidad CXC regional workshop. I mean, she facilitated the workshop just because she was following the education talk. I saw her comment, she made contact with Kevin, and that whole networking happened. So I'm very happy for that. And it's not just about the connection, it's the fact that we're able to reach persons and use our skills and our skills and our expertise to really bridge gaps even more, and to be able to, you know, to raise our bars as people within the region. So Lawrence, you're on. Let's see if you're working good.
Yes.
Ah,
Hi.
thank God, you're good.
Okay, nice one.
You're good. We can hear you clearly now. Very good. So Lawrence,
Oh, I know what the code was working all the time. I don't know if I come online if one act up. So sorry about that.
your excuse, your excuse. I really wanted you to be a part of this conversation. I know you follow Gyhaffin, and I do not want to exclude anybody. Whoever reach out to me and I reach out to, you know, I say, hey, you know what? Let's just be fair and hear, because you all take your time every week to hear what we have to say. I have to say, and it's only fair that we hear what all our guests, our viewers, sorry, guests and viewers have to say as well on their thoughts. But before, because we didn't hear you very well, speak a little bit about hemophilia you were saying, and you linked it to the mental state.
Yes. Before I was saying, the bleeding is where the blood does clot where it's supposed to, and misconception that person have is that when they oh, my blood does clot really fast or really good or if blood is clotting too much, that is also not good, because we suffer from a blood disorder called hemophilia, where your blood will be clotting too much. So it's all a balance. If it's clotting too little, we classify it as hemophilia or another form of bleeding disorder. And if it clots too much, it's not also not. That's why some persons will have to use an aspirins, which in my case, I cannot be using aspirins, right? So there's other stuff about it. I don't want the viewers out there right now, but it's interesting understanding necropsy, which is bleed disorder, because Guyanese don't much about our condition, and that's why I mentioned earlier that we try to form organization, an organization, to spread the awareness to more persons who suffer. And as main persons for the we started the organization about 3 years now, and meeting different persons who have hemophilia patients, they're severe and they're moderate mild, and listening to them, hearing their mental state of how the disorder impact them, has made me done a bit different effect on another way I used to feel like it relate some of the experience with humanity, and out of them would I offer them to have counseling, and the part with do that of this the person might not understand this particularly and how conquers.
Okay.
All that is
Lauren, I have to interject because the echoing is happening again, and I really wanted to hear from you, but the echoing is really happening again. I don't know. We have to figure it out. So it's not clear at all. I'm trying my best. Yeah, I understand. I understand. At least we made the effort, you know, to hear, but it's really echoing. There is a static actually. There's a static actually. If let me just dive into the comments just a little bit. Sharika said, congratulations, Erica. Tasha Lewis is here. And Kevin Charles is here. Hey, Kevin, what's up? Kevin said, she is an excellent educator. I appreciate Gyhaff for the link up through this wonderful online talk show. So thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you for being a guest on our education talk. As I mentioned just now, Kevin is a very young man who, I say very young, he's a young man who owns his own private school in Trinidad, Academy for Higher Learning. His facility is actually one of the first in the Caribbean region that focuses on blended learning. So 3-4 years ago, he started this platform, and here it is now. Everyone has to adopt to the structure of blended learning classrooms. All right. So this is where Anita and Kevin network to make their partnership happen. So thank you very much for that. I think today, let me see, I'm waiting to see if I can see any more comments. Sharik said, Keoma, we're doing a very good job. I saw a few of those comments as well. Before this will be a very short gap, it's like an hour gap. Before, what are some of our takeaways? What are Moses said he would like for us to bring back Erica, Zoya on, based on psychological health care. Erica, what else would you like us to talk about? What other topics interest you?
Excuse me, I could hear it now.
Oh, sorry.
Tell me
Okay.
again.
So moving forward, we have which episode in the past, besides the episode you were on, what would you like to hear us talk about? Which episode really resonated with you? What would you like us to talk about in the future?
Well, all episode was nice and helpful for everyone, different no? So this episode about meet with each other, try to help us. This is the most that I like.
Okay.
Yes.
So basically, help highlighting persons who need assistance as well. Okay.
Yes.
Now that you mentioned that, let me take this opportunity to mention something. Because there are persons who reach out to me, and of course they do not want to be public, right? So we try to keep that behind the scenes and respect persons' privacy as well. But I received a call and I got permission to actually highlight this particular situation. I received a call earlier this week, and I don't even know what to think of it actually. I really don't know. I think it's parallel with what's happening. As they say, it comes with a territory. Metaphorically speaking, it comes with a territory. So a few months ago, I think it was in March, at the break of the pandemic, this particular person, they were not laid off, but their salary was drastically reduced. All right. And due to that, they reached out to their bank where they have their mortgage, and the bank never responded to their email, advising the bank that their salary was reduced drastically and requesting for a break, like a 3-month grace period, whereby they can put themselves in order to pay the full mortgage. The bank never responded to the email, so they sent about 2 or 3 more additional emails. And the next thing the person received was a call from the head office in another island to advise them that their home was being repossessed. And right now their home is being listed on the notary's website for auction. And in order for them to have access to their home again, they would have to pay, I think, like $20-something thousand US. So this is definitely a conversation we need to have, because there are persons who rent homes, and we're in the height of COVID. People are losing their jobs. They're being laid off for whatever reasons, of course, due to COVID, right? And here it is now, there are persons who are unable to pay their rent, and they're being threatened to be put out. And I can understand, I honestly can, because we need to look at things from both ends of the fence as well, right? Because if I have a mortgage and I have tenants, regardless of the situation, I still am obligated to the bank to make my payments, right? But I don't know, I think we need to have a conversation as a community as to how can we, I don't want to say fix it. I honestly don't know what word to use, but how can we talk about this? You'll have to help me here. How can we talk about this even more? How can we really talk about it? Because yes, the pandemic is here. On the other hand, persons, the homeowners need to have their money, because most of them has a mortgage. So how do we meet halfway? Some banks gave like 6 months grace period, like a break in between, to allow persons. But the question now becomes, they were out of work for that 6 months period, and they're using that money whatever money they have saved or just stock away somewhere, they are using that money to survive day to day for that 6 months period. So when that 6 months grace period for them to pay their mortgage, their loan, or whatever they have, when that comes to an end, how and where do they get the money from to actually maintain those loan payments? You know, like I really believe we need to have a conversation, and I need to listen to the conversation, because as I said, I'm not too sure how to respond, but I really believe it's something that we need to talk about in our community, because at the end of the day, what we are going to see is homeless people. We will see homeless people, because here it is in this person's case, they contacted the bank. They contacted the bank, they sent an email, the bank never acknowledged their email. They sent 2 or 3 other emails explaining their situation and requesting for that grace period. The bank never acknowledged them. The next time they heard from the bank is when the headquarters called and say, hey, we're repossessing your home. In order for you to, you know, get back this home, you need to come up with 20 something thousand US dollars. And now this person is fighting to get their home, because their home is already listed in the notary's website for auction. What happens then? What do we do? What do we do? So Henrietta, Dora, New York, Illich, Henrietta, thank you so much for always tuning in. I really appreciate it. And thank you for not just tuning in, but for engaging as well. She said all programs were very good. Try getting an internist to speak on topics, example, diabetes and cholesterol, among others. So thank you very much for that insight. I will definitely make a note on that. Kevin stated in Trinidad and Tobago, banks gave concessions for 3 months, but they requested persons to pay the principal on the loan or mortgage. You know, it's, Kevin, I hear you, you know, but I understand the banks. But at the same time, how do we even do it when you're not even earning? And I think this is where the conversation we had with Terrence Ray and even Emilia Calmera comes in. We cannot go back to fix what is already broken, but moving forward, we really and truly have to learn how to manage our finances better. We need to understand what the old people say, save for a rainy day, because in events like this that happens abruptly, how do we respond at the spark of the click of a finger to the state? We need to make sure that we have a reservoir. We need to make sure that we have something stashed away underneath our mattress, as we would say, you know, for days, like for times like this. So, I mean, we can blame anybody. You know, there are so many persons and people and institutions to be blamed. I know, but I would say one thing: when you do not respond, when your customer service is out of whack, you know, it's out of sync, and persons are sending email, you need to be able to communicate with our persons, you know. Nasoya Chapman said also hypertension and other chronic diseases. Definitely, I would talk about that, but what I really wanted to do in the COVID series is to really touch base on topics that were right in our faces right there and then, you know. So Nasoya, I want you to know that I saw your comments, and I will definitely make a note on this. Henrietta as well. All right, so thank you so much for that. But we really need to have that conversation. I see Erica is shaking her head. I say everyone is actually shaking their heads. Like, how do we move forward? Because Erica, you said also you were laid off. Your boyfriend was only making a certain amount of money, and you weren't able to pay your rent for about 3 months. And you also had pressure from the landlord. Do we blame the landlord? We cannot blame the landlord. You know, we really cannot, because that person has an obligation as well. But I think in cases like this, the responsibility has to also fall on us, because we need, again, to prepare for rainy days. And I would encourage persons to go back to our last 2 gaffes, whereby Terrence Ray and the last gaff on Emilia Calmera, where we spoke very detailedly on how to budget our money, regardless of how much we're making, how to budget the money. Anyone want to add to that? when it comes to budgeting, how we spend our money on a day-to-day basis? Anyone? Any of our viewer guests? Anita?
For me, my grandmother used to say, it's not how much you earn, it's how much you save, right? And just like when you give the good Lord 1/10 of your salary, you still have 90% left. So if you actually try to save 10% for yourself, let's say hypothetically, in times like these, you'll be able to kind of stay afloat per se. Because what COVID has taught us, all those nice shoes and nice bags and those things we women buy, we don't need them. Right now, we only need to eat and pay our bills. So a lot of things that we wasted money on, we actually don't need. So budgeting is paramount. If somebody gives you $10 to get a bag, if you don't buy that bag, you can invest that $10. So you can buy more bags when you need to, which perhaps could start a business. So now you have to actually look at what your talents are, because a lot of us have hidden talents. Some persons were laid off, but they're very good at cooking. And now they are actually selling food from their home. So some of these are the things we have to look into. It's not how much you earn, but it's how much you save.
Very good. I see Sharika Hicks Patrick just commented. She said priority and discretion helps with budgeting. So priority and discretion helps with budgeting, definitely. Erica, I saw you wanted to say something when I asked the question. You could add to that.
You asked the question about how we manage the money, no?
Yes.
So many people like to spend money in nails, health, they like to know, yeah. But in those times, we need to know for the future. You understand? We need to have money saved every time for the future, because we never thinking like we're going to experience this pandemic. Never we thinking about that. So we're always thinking in today and today and today. We're not thinking about tomorrow. Now what happened today? We are struggling a lot of situation, hungry, homeless, because we never was prepared for this situation. Yes.
Erica, let me ask you, not to be prying, but I'm curious, what, before the pandemic, what was it like for you? Were you a saver? How did you manage your income before the pandemic? Honestly.
Because I have a kid. So after Irma, my life was struggling. So you understand? I was trying to get a new house because I spent like 8 months when I was at GB. I had to be looking for a house. Like, finally, I find a house. I think I'm going to save some money. We was good, but pandemic come. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready needed because I just come from Irma situation. When I think I'm going to be stable, my life go back down.
It's interesting. It's interesting. Moses, what would you like to add to this? Like, how can we as a community, moving forward from the lessons we are learning here now in the height of COVID, how would you suggest that we manage our day-to-day finances moving forward and to be able to prepare for things like this?
Okay, I would like to say that we, as a person, we need to be able to differentiate needs from wants. We need to be able to differentiate our needs from our wants. There are many things that people want in life that they actually don't need them. It's of no use. So placing priority on the necessity is the first step to having a financial independence and savings. Yeah. Placing priority on the necessity, not what you want, but what you need. And also, you have to have diverse or multiple stream of income. No, like Erica now, I think she was only depending on her salary. So when the stuff came, it actually hit her real bad.
Yeah.
For us to be financially independent and buoyant, you have to grow from the level of, having just one source of income. We all have gifts, and that's one thing we don't know. I told you last year I resigned from my office. That was even before COVID. And I never bothered applying for any job because I have my own personal skills I'm putting to work that is fetching me more than I was earning, even when I was in the secular job. So we need to discover. Erica, Anita said something about, cooking skills. See, nothing is too small. That's one thing we don't know. Nothing is too small. Nothing. So there are things in our hand that serves as our influence and affluence. There are things in our hand that we don't take cognizance of, but to us it's just a mere. You can say it's your passion. You can turn your passion to profit. You can. So don't just depend on just one flow of income. Let it be diverse. So I won't say more than that. I think I've done justice to that. Just try and diversify your stream of income.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I must agree with that. And we spoke about that in one of our previous episodes, is especially the one, I think is the one where Dominique Hodge was on. There's so many persons who have the natural gifts of cooking and decor or doing all kind of things. We can tap into our own personal strengths. And I would say this though, I know, like what Moses said just now and what Anita said, to focus on our needs and not our wants. And let me say this, because I am an advocate for this. While we're focusing on our needs, it's not only bags and shoes, but our needs is for ourselves. We are our own needs. And that's why the second episode of Gyhaffin was self-care. How do we care for our mental health? How do we care for our emotional health, our spiritual welfare? How do we care for ourselves physically, our skin care? How do we care for ourselves, right? I'm telling you, I'm just being real in these conversations. And for this past week, I felt really, really heavy. My sister graduated and she received a gift for a few days at a hotel. And this is where we are. And when it was time for her to check out, I said, I just need I just need to get away and be in a change of atmosphere. And even though I'm counting the nickels and the dimes, I said, I have to, and I must. Moses is laughing, Anita is laughing. Even though I'm counting the nickels and the dimes, I'm telling you, I am a priority as well. I make sure I take time out calculatively with my income to take care of myself. I try not to neglect myself. So in all of this, I am not saying that you have to go out and spend a ton load of money to take care of yourself, to treat yourself, but we have to live as well. And that's why we had that detailed conversation on self-care, our second episode. We need to be able to treat ourselves. Because there are some people who just work every single day and they're not living. You're working and you're saying that you're saving money, but you're not actually enjoying what you're working for. You have to do every single thing with moderation. All right. So I can tell you, I don't like my fingernails done. And you will see a few days ago, I went to my apartment and I started putting some yellow nail polish. Can you even see this? You see how chippy it looks? Because I put one, because I cannot do it on the other one. So I put the regular nail polish on my finger, and before you know it, it was touching everywhere. I'm like, you know what? I don't have time for this right now. I just leave it like this, right? It will come off. I will flick it off when I'm bored or something, right? So not that I'm being gross. I'm just being, I just couldn't be bothered, really and truly. But I really want us to understand that we need to take some time out. Sometimes we have to remove ourselves from our own environment to hear our own thoughts, to feel our skin again, and to replenish ourselves, our mind, our spiritually. We need to reconnect with ourselves. And I think that is very important. For me, this is something that I won't change. At the end of, I don't do my nails. I don't like acrylic or so necessarily on my nails. It's too much maintenance. I don't like things that require me to maintain it too much, unless it's a need. But every month I have pedicures done. I book myself to a full body massage every 3 months. And there are other things I do to take care of myself. That is what I do. I could eat. I love ice cream. I know I love going out to eat. I'm a foodie. I don't like cooking, but I can cook. But there are times where I want to feel good. So I take myself out to breakfast sometimes. I take myself out to lunch or dinner, and but I do it all on a budget. I budget it, and that's how you can take care of yourselves. You know what your income is, but you can still feel as though you're alive and you're living and you're enjoying life, but you can do it moderately on a budget. All right, so do we have any last words? Any last words? Anybody? Any last words before we leave today?
For me, I'd
Uh,
like to say, oh, go ahead. I'd like to say thank you for this experience once more. But there's a burning thing. When Moses spoke earlier about mental health and Zoya, something came to mind as an educator. All
Mhm.
right, so we are reopening school here next Monday via online platform.
Mhm.
However, but what about the mental health of the kids for the past few months since March, since we locked down? Yes, they'll be in front of a computer, but what about their mental health? I know parents, we're always talking about the adults and their mental health, but if we have a messed up generation right now, these are the children who will take care of us when we're old. So I think one of your next programs you should have some children on speaking about how they really feel. How has this COVID pandemic affected them? Because their parents may see them looking okay, but deep down they're really hurting. And that's going to affect the entire education process, not just for this month, but for a good while to come.
Mhm.
So that is it for me.
I I definitely agree with that, Anita. And it's not just only about the education process or the state of education with the students, but it's in general. It's general because, as Erica stated with her son, her 12-year-old son, he is home and he witnessed the change in their environment, their home, whereby before they were eating several times a day, and he's witnessing his parents eating once a day. He's witnessing changes, and that also takes a toll. And I'm very happy in that episode, Erica stated that she recognized that and she reached out to the Mental Health Foundation. And that's where the stigma, we need to continue to talk about mental health in order to break the barriers, the stigma barrier that comes there. We definitely need to do that. And I commend Erica for that, definitely, for identifying that her son needed that level of professionalism and exposing him to that. Someone else wanted to add something. Moses, was it you?
you,
I think Lawrence want to say something.
Oh, Lauren?
yeah, part of this the first last home is that more smart and what about the social programs who will affect social programs? Because when persons work normally, they will give to different places. So having that impact quite on their financial status, how they doing. I mean, it's a benchmark to your social service in your country.
Mm.
Oh, this
Lauren?
country.
Lawrence, this is what we'll do because I really cannot hear you. I know you're speaking. We can all hear, but I really cannot hear you. So this is what we'll do, right?
All right.
What we'll do is after this, I'm asking you to do us a favor. Everything you said, I'm asking you to make a video, a short video, and post in a comment section under this post, right? So then we'll be able to carry on the conversation after, right? So then when you make the video, the audio should be clear and we are able to follow through after. Would you agree with that? Yeah? Okay, so just write your points down because as I said,
Yeah.
we really want to hear what it is you're saying. I really want that. So make a short video, post in the comment section, and after we're finished here, whenever you post, we'll engage after. All right? Agree with me, everyone? We'll engage after. Okay, Lawrence? Moses?
Yeah, okay. I'd like to say this to the viewers. We are all viewing. COVID-19 is a leveler, is a game changer. You know, it has come to just level the playing field for everybody. So it is just, it's as good as it is an introduction phase for the underdogs. For those who are not known in whatever things they are doing, COVID-19 has come to level the ground for every one of us. So you don't have any excuse. You don't have any excuse. So the ground has been leveled now for us all to come out with whatever we have within us. And the world is actually willing and eager to hear that. So that's all.
Very good, very good. So you see, you don't have no excuse. We're all on the same playing field right now. COVID has come to level us out, and we're basically all starting from ground up right now. We're all on the same level, and it matters not where you are, but how you utilize what you have in order to transcend yourself to that next level. You cannot do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. There are so many people who we can reach out to, ask for assistance, even if it's just to talk to someone. All right. We will continue to bring great content. That's why we're doing this. We want to hear from you all. Let us know what you want. Let us know what these past 8 episodes were to you, how you resonated with them. All right. So as you can see, we brought 4 viewers on. We heard from everyone what their perspectives were, or are rather, and moving forward, I will continue to just touch base with our viewers. So now I feel a sense of satisfaction in order to move on, because now I know moving forward, I know, okay, this is what resonated the most. And now I know to bring Zoya back, have even more talks on psychological and emotional, and I think even spiritual self-care as well, and really, really dive in there before we continue on to other topics. All right. So to our viewers, I see Minerva. Minerva, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love you as a sister. Thank you. Soya, Sharika, Henrietta, Roxy, everyone, Alicia Macpherson. So thank you so much. And thank you very much for being here. Thank you for allowing Gyhaffin to resonate with you. Thank you for welcoming us every week into your home. And remember, hey, Polo, like the work. Thank you, Polo. Polo, let me say, Polo has been, I kid you not, Polo has been following me probably like 10 years, about almost 10 years. Like everything I have been doing, he follows me regardless of what project I work on. He follows me. We have never met each other in person. He lives in France. I am here in the Caribbean, but everything I do, he is there. So Polo, thank you so much. I cannot wait to meet you in person one day. So thank you. And again, before we go, I will say this. Take care of yourselves. I know money is an issue, but we need to at least feel alive. We need to live. We need to relax. And I'm telling you, can you see? Can you see it? Like I really and truly, I am at, I really and truly had to do this. I needed a break. I really did needed a break. I was really tired and I just really need a break. So thank you so much. And I'm reminding everyone, you can have $1. Just go buy ice cream cone on the street. And don't just go home and eat it, but sit out in the wood corner and feel every lick. You know what I mean? Just indulge in it, because that's your moment. Make it your moment. And as we continue, we will continue to bring you great content. We will continue to reach everyone. You know, we do our best to reach you, and we're open to hearing from you. You can reach out to me directly here on Facebook, on Messenger. You can contact us at Amoek Media. That's AMOEK media@gmail.com. AmoekMedia@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your comments, whatever it is. And we're also working on our website right now. There are persons who say, hey, we want to advertise with you. So we're currently working on having these things that aspect of things, you know, very structured, and I'll announce it within the weeks to come. So thank you so much. I see Bismarcky is on. Bismarcky is on here. So thank you. Every week he's here before me waiting. So thank you so much for that. So until next week, bye everyone. Thank you, Anita, Erica, Lawrence. Lawrence, you owe us the video. Let us know. Send it to us today. Moses, thank you so much. Goodbye, everyone.